Hello, everyone, and welcome to Uncivil Law, where we learn through the misfortunes of others. As always, I hope you enjoy this legal educational content, and today's the day I earned that subscription. For today's story, we are going to be listening, or I'm going to be listening more properly, to the audio feed of Juror number one's interview. And I can't rebroadcast it, but what I can do is try to just say what they're saying, which is essentially the same thing. So I'm going to do my best to just do it verbatim. You know, like I'm a court reporter and doing the little mic thing. So before someone asks, what is Kurt saying? You know, so this is where you guys have to pop up in chat and help the other people as they come in. So before people pop up and say, hey, Kurt, who's talking? Hey, Kurt, what are you doing? I obviously can't interrupt myself to answer those questions. So you guys will just have to be, guys will have to make clear that Uncivil is repeating verbatim as best as possible what he hears. That's the limitations of what we're dealing with right now. So I'll try to identify who's speaking, but they probably won't introduce themselves every time. So I'll just say what's said verbatim, and we'll have to figure it out later who said what, I guess. Well. Pinning comments doesn't seem to help at all, but I will try. For all the good it will do me, which is none. You know people are going to still ask. It doesn't matter what I do. How many times have they ignored how many things? Ian wants a link. I can't do a link, Ian, because I didn't set it up in StreamYard. I set it up in OBS. So I can't create a stream link on this fly. I'm sorry. Here. A link to the audio feed? Yeah, I can do that. Oh, by the way, it's that really crappy hold music we've heard before. So since it's not violating court order, you get to hear the really crappy hold music. TV? Okay. I was under the impression it was not being broadcast. So if it's on Court TV, we can go about it that way. Fine. Well, they hung up on me. That was rude.
Is here?
Yes.
Why don't you go get Mr. Turfs?
Give me a
And
second.
just
I'm
leave
working on this layout.
juror number one where he is for the moment. Yeah, Mr. Turfs is the attorney.
Deep breaths, Kurt. You can fix this problem. So apparently he's represented by a guy named Mr. Turfs.
Here for Mr. Turfs.
I was going to put him over in the jury box. figured that was an appropriate place
That's
for
a good analogy
him to go.
there.
Judge, while we're waiting, I understand we sent a judgment in, proposed judgment in today. It apparently was sent in as agreed. It's not agreed. Mr. Altmer and I have talked about it. I think we're very close. We have one or two things to resolve. I mean, and of course, obviously, the numbers could change. We appreciate that.
Well, that's down the road.
Yes.
Let's,
Yeah, I just wanted to correct. Apparently, it had gone, I haven't even seen it. Apparently, it went in as an agreed or unobjected to.
Jay.
That's not, it's mostly accurate, but it's not completely accurate.
and I see Mr. Turfs is here, and you are representing juror number 1?
Yes.
And ultimately, Mr. Turfs, when you speak, because there's no microphone over there, I'll need you at some point to go over to the lectern if you need to speak.
Yes, thank you.
Now, we are here on the juror interview. Mr. Altenberg, you seem like you want
I've
to,
got two more appearances. I forgot counsel in Baltimore, and so Terry Williams and Derek Steichwalder are here as well.
I don't see them.
They need to be admitted.
I think probably need to be admitted.
Gosh. Okay, what are their names again?
It should show.
They're
as-
not
as
here, and I'd
Terry
like them
Williams
admitted. Yeah,
and
no.
Derek Steichwalder.
You think with all the glare off of all these lights, I can see it's.
No, his lawyer's
Terry
sitting in the
Williams?
jury box.
Yes.
It's Mr. Tufts is his lawyer. Mr. Tufts is his lawyer, sitting in the jury box.
Okay, I don't see that name. Could it be a different first name?
I doubt it.
Well, I mean, is it a she or he?
It's a she.
Maybe they're both with the same standard.
It would be whatever they put in.
Yeah, do you say a Derek? They could be in the same room.
And what's the other name again?
Its first name is Derek, D-E-R-E-K, and it's Steichwalder, S-T-I-K-E, etc.
Okay.
All right.
Do you want to call them and see what their name on their Zoom is?
They're not here and they want to be admitted? Okay, that's a whole new level of arrogance. Remind me if I become a judge to outlaw Zoom in my courtroom if I can.
Because there's.
You can show up. They used to
quite
do
a
it in
few
the old
folks
days.
on
You can
Zoom.
haul your ass down here too.
I will send an email right now, Judge.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind
grumpy.
promoting them to a. Oh. Let's see.
Yes, juror number 1 has a lawyer. His name is apparently Mr. Tufts. He's currently
promoted to a
sitting in the jury
panelist.
box.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, I don't see names. So I just need to know whatever name.
You guys
they
can't see the live feed?
Are on the Zoom for me to be able to promote them to be.
Bring in the live feed. You can't see it? You can't see it? Oh, it's not streaming on YouTube. Oh, shit.
Any other? Well, let me go ahead and go over the ground rules while we wait for that.
Okay, then I was so
information.
confused. What the hell's going on right now?
We are here on the juror interview. I will be asking the questions. I want to make it clear that I'm not going to ask any questions associated with the jury deliberations, the thought process associated with
Don't panic me like
juror
that.
number 1's view of the evidence or anything having to do that would adhere in the verdict. The only topics we will address are those 4 that I put in the original order, granting the limited juror interview. I'll ask the questions. At the conclusion of the questions that I ask, I'll have juror number 1 go back to wherever he is right this second, and then I'll let you, out of his presence, suggest any further questions that you think that I might need to ask based on this juror's answers at the time. So we all understand what we're doing today?
Yes, sir.
Now, I do have, and not exactly sure how I'm going to get it for the folks on Zoom, but 2 exhibits. So give this to the clerk. Mr. Turfs,
Perfs.
defense and plaintiffs, and then put one on the witness stand. And just pull off the little yellow sticky when you give it. And what they are for Mr. Hunter,
Well,
Mr.
don't
Hughes,
screw with me,
and
Liam. That's
Mr.
not
Whitney,
cool
and
when I'm
Ms.
streaming.
Anderson, and Ms. Lawrence.
No, because I want to
is
solve the problem.
The court
It
exhibit
distracts me
number
from what I'm
one
doing. Liam gets
is
a timeout.
juror number one's questionnaire that
Don't be mean
he
to us,
filled
Evan.
out. I redacted his address. And court exhibit number 2 is the docket from that 2002 Broward case that was referenced in the defendant's motion for juror interview. And for the witness stand, you can pull off the paper clip off of it.
Your Honor, this is David Hughes. I'm sorry to interrupt. I did hear back. Derek Stikelether, or his email, dstike, he says it would be, and for Miss Williams, it should be Carrie Williams or C. Williams at her email address.
Are they able to see me in the audience right this second?
I'm being told that Mr. Stikelether is in Judge Carroll's personal meeting room.
Okay, because if I suspect what he is on, because I have a normal Zoom and I'm using the webinar feature that we use throughout the entire trial, which is different than what I use for all my other cases. So I suspect that's the issue,
Okay.
because he would be able to see me right this second.
Okay. I'll see if they can just watch on TV. I assume the proceedings are being televised.
My understanding is Law and Crime is live streaming this, and any number of other social media outlets are also broadcasting it live. I don't make any representation as to what they're doing or what they're not doing. But I'd like to proceed if that's okay with the defense. You're shaking your head yes, so.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. Any questions about what we're going to do, or are we ready to bring in juror number 1?
None on behalf of plaintiff.
On behalf of defense.
Lieutenant, if you can go grab juror number 1, please.
All right, let's watch and see whatever this bullshit is that's about to happen. I'm sorry. Did someone on Twitch call me out for a moderation decision? That's a timeout.
You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
So help me God, I do.
Okay, welcome, sir.
Greetings.
And I know we're in a different courtroom and a different courthouse than the last time I saw you, and I appreciate you coming today. I would assume you understand why we're here today.
Yes, I do.
Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in. Right in front of you, I've got a couple of sheets of paper. The first one that I put on.
Juror
it
number
says
1
court
looking
exhibit
fly
number
today.
1. I just want to confirm that is in fact the questionnaire that you filled out. I think you were on day 1, so it would have been September 14th, 2023.
Yes, Your Honor, it appears so, yes.
And then the second sheet of paper behind it is a docket sheet, and I'll tell you, I
like
just
the
printed
tie
it
with
out
the
a few
shirt,
days ago
jacket
off of the
combo.
Broward County Circuit's website, so it's whatever was publicly available. involving a 2002, so more than 20 years ago, a 2002 filing by what appears to be your then wife. Is that Aileen?
Yes, correct.
Now, I mean, I've sat in the family law division, so I know how to read this docket sheet. What it looks like is your then wife filed, because it looks like you probably had minor children between the two of you, a UCCJEA affidavit was filed, and there were some allegations. You were served with the petition, and then she never showed up for the hearing. That's what I read off of this.
That is correct.
Now, here's where I'm going to go with my questions. There seems to have been some sort of reference to
looks like Guy
child
Fieri, a little bit, yeah.
allegations involving this petition. So was there any sort of involvement by DCF more than 20 years ago in this case? When I say this case, the 2002 case.
No, there was not.
And at the time in 2002, did you have, how many minor children did you have?
He has to think about it.
2002,
2002.
that would have been 3.
Were any of your children sheltered by DCF or whatever the entity was called at the time?
None, no.
There was, on the questionnaire, whether you had any strong opinions about DCF. So do you have, let me go back. On September 14th, 2023, did you have any opinions, strongly held opinions about DCF?
No, I did not.
How about the government's ability to remove children from the care of their parents?
No opinion at all.
I'm going to switch gears on you, sir, and go to another topic. There was an allegation in the defendant's motion that somehow your current wife either was represented by an attorney by the name of Deborah Salisbury or was involved in a case that included Deborah Salisbury. My question to you is this. Back on September 14th, 2023, did you know who Deborah Salisbury was?
No, I did not.
When did you first learn, if at all, when or who Deborah Salisbury is?
When something was filed by the defense attorneys.
Has attorney Deborah Salisbury ever represented you?
Never.
And to the best of your knowledge, has attorney Deborah Salisbury ever represented your current wife?
No, she has not.
And when I say your current wife, when did you all get married? Not to put you on the spot.
I had it on a tattoo of a hippo on my arm, but it's covered.
Under oath, can you remember your
2016?
marriage date? Lol.
Okay.
Buy some roses.
Have you ever been in any sort of proceeding where Deborah Salisbury was around, to your knowledge?
Never.
I'm going to change gears on you and go to another topic, sir. The court gave repeated instructions during the trial not to have any conversation about the case, don't learn any information. In fact, I think on the very first day, I told the assembled group that you couldn't even talk to your spouse or partner about the case. And if they asked, that you were to say that Judge Carroll's a meanie and doesn't allow me to talk about this case. Were you able to follow that instruction throughout the entirety of the case until the time that you were discharged as a juror?
Yes, I was.
At any time until the time that you were discharged, right, the day before Veterans Day, or whatever day that was, when we discharged you. At any time before that date, did you speak with anyone, that would include your wife, concerning anything having to do with this case?
No, I did not.
Now, the motion indicates that a person who appears to be your wife, and I'm assuming it is your wife, is that correct?
Yes,
Was following the trial on various social media platforms, and on one day came to court. Okay. Are you able to tell me for sure that your wife or no one else, no one gave you any information about this case at all?
yes, correct, Your Honor. No one, and I did not seek out any information on this case.
Now, slightly different, did you obtain any information about this case from any source outside of the courtroom at
No.
any time before you were discharged as a juror?
No, I did not, Your Honor.
Let me ask you directly. There was an allegation that you may have gone online and looked at Dr. Kirkpatrick's website. Did you do that?
No, I did not, Your Honor.
Did you ever
Creature comforts, man.
observe
Creature
Dr.
comforts.
Kirkpatrick's website, even if you did not type out the information to drive the computer to his website?
No, I did not, Your Honor.
Now, sir, what I'm going to ask you to do is to go back and sit where you were. I'm going to talk with the lawyers outside of your presence, and
Well,
we
that's
might
pretty
have some
simple.
more questions for you.
Let's look a little bit more at his styling as he's walking out. Let's look at this guy. Look at this shirt with the patterns, little orange handkerchief in the jacket. Look at that nice blue, man. Look at this guy styling, man. He's my hero. He's got a little mullet in the back. Fantastic.
Okay, juror number 1 is out of our presence. I have, as I told you in the order allowing the limited juror interview, and as I said this a few moments ago, after I asked my questions, I was going to open it up to see if there were other questions, so I'll just go to the defense. Are there topics that, within those 4 issues that I'm allowing, that I need to dig farther on?
Your Honor, I only have really an area of inquiry as to the October 30th when his wife
Okay,
was...
I'm having trouble hearing you. Can you go to the?
I'm sorry.
I apologize.
I said I'm only have
Your
a
Uncle
handful of
Uncle
questions, I
Bailey
think,
looks like a
about
slob in
October
comparison.
30th
Lol.
when his wife was in the courtroom.
You got your game set out for you, sir.
It seems to me that if I was on a jury and my wife showed up in the courtroom, I'd be surprised. And so,
Really?
I mean, did he have any conversations about her planning to attend before she
What,
did
cologne?
attend? And then, I guess the next question has to be, did he actually see her in the courtroom sitting on
Maybe
what I'll call
Dior-
the plaintiff's side of the courtroom?
No, wait. Maybe
Did that
Prada Ocean?
cause them to have any verbal or
good one.
nonverbal communication with one another in the courtroom? Did they have lunch with one another that day? Did they have any discussion at all about her attendance at the court at the end of the day? And the only final question I would have would be whether or not he discussed anything about the testimony of Detective Graham, either before that testimony or afterwards.
The Detective Graham issue, I mean, I've ruled on that.
Okay.
The
I thought that was still open, but if you ruled on it, that's fine.
right, well, I mean, I think what I said was the fact that he's going to have questions. I think I said that this is almost as certain as death and taxes that this witness or that this juror was going to have have questions.
I realize that.
Yeah, so
I prefer the question, but if you don't want to give it, that's fine. So thank you.
plaintiffs, what are your thoughts?
Your Honor, we object to all of these. We do not see the relevancy to them. The witnesses already testified that he did not have any
Prada
substantive,
Ocean.
any
I'll get him some
communication
Prada
with his
Ocean.
wife
That'll be good for
about
him.
the trial. The court's order, none of the instructions said, and you have to remain mute to your spouse. You can have no conversations whatsoever. You can't even look at her, presumably is one of the questions in the courtroom, or shake your head or smile. And we believe that these questions are completely inappropriate and lead us nowhere towards what we understand the court's inquiry and what you're seeking here.
Okay. I'll go ahead and ask, I think, one or two of them. I'm not going to ask all of them, but Mr. Turfs, was there anything that? No, Your Honor. Okay. Let's bring them in real quick.
And to be clear, this is during the trial.
You can, in fact, eat lunch and not talk about the case, I'm pretty sure. I had breakfast today, and I didn't talk about the case during breakfast. Yeah.
Okay, sir, you understand you're still under oath?
Yes.
Just a few more follow-ups.
I need to learn who is
Apparently, your
tailoring.
wife showed up
That's
in
what I want to
court
have. Juror number one and I
on
need to have an
October
interview about
30th.
his fashion and where I can look as dapper as
That
him.
was the day before you dyed your hair, if I remember correctly. Well, your hair went orange
Yes,
for Halloween, I assume. Okay, but let me go back to the day before that. Did you see your wife in court that day?
no, I did not.
Did you have any knowledge prior to October 30th that she was going to court?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me about that.
She told me that morning that she wants to go and sit in court, and I said, fine with me, and that was the end of the conversation.
Now, so you said you didn't see her in court.
CK1's a good
Because of
choice.
my eyesight,
CK1's a good choice.
with my readers, because of my diabetic retinopathy, I only see figures in the gallery right now. I can't ID anybody.
Well, here's where I'm going with my ultimate question. I hear that you say you didn't see your wife, but I want to make sure, was there any sort of nonverbal contact or nonverbal communication
What's
from
the other
your
one? That'd be
wife
good.
to you about this case?
No, there was not.
Okay. Thank you, sir. If you could go have a seat.
Called.
And Mr. Altenburn, based on how he answered those questions, I didn't ask some of those others because either benign contact, not about the case.
I'm not asking for additional questions.
Okay, thank you. So at this point, may I
You go, boss. Boss is
excuse
good.
juror number one?
Yes, Your Honor, on behalf of plaintiff.
Okay. We can let him go if he wants to leave the building.
Aqua di
That's
Gio,
fine.
the original Aqua di
I'm gonna
Gio.
hear further
Old school
argument
Aqua di
from
Gio.
the lawyers.
Yeah,
Mr.
the
Turf,
original
if you
Aqua
want
di
to stay
Gio.
around, that's fine, or if you want
That's the
to
one for
leave
him.
with him, that's fine too. But juror number one is free to go if he wishes to leave at this point. If he wants to come and sit in the audience, he's free to do that, or come sit here. It's totally up to him. Let's move those two documents in as courts exhibits 1 and 2.
We'll run a poll. get him a
Absolutely.
gift.
Okay. But he is now excused from his subpoena, and he's free to go whenever he wishes to go. Okay, closing arguments at this point on the defendant's motion for new trial, which is at DIN 3742. And since it was the defendant's motion, I'll let the defense make any arguments you wish to make at this point, if any.
So based on the testimony, it comes down to a credibility call for you to make on what he said here. And I've asked for questions. We'd like to have gone to the things on the other area, but I believe you've made a clear ruling on that, so there's no reason for me to argue further on that. I do believe that those things weren't bound by a 15-day and that we had good cause for why we did it somewhat later, but you've ruled, so thank you.
All right, poll coming your way for best clone for
Thanks.
juror 1.
The court essentially wrote our argument on the January 2nd, 2024 order. Your Honor, it's time to put this to bed. There was no ambiguity in the witness's testimony. He was straightforward and looked at the court. I would note for the record, at least I recall that the witness used reader glasses at times during the proceedings if he had something important to see here. And there's no reason to doubt this gentleman's honesty and integrity and the answers to his questions. So we ask that their motion be denied.
Court has before it defendant's motion for new trial based on juror misconduct, which is at docket identification number, or DIN 3742. There were various supplements. Certainly the record is going to reflect the various different supplements, responses, interim orders, reconsideration, orders on reconsideration. At the end of the day, the defense has failed to demonstrate any juror misconduct. The court will therefore deny the motion for new trial based on alleged juror misconduct. That concludes the juror interview. I certainly still have a number of motions pending that we argued before the court on December 15th. Those remain pending, and I still need to address those. So my hope is that on or before Monday, January 22nd, that I will have answers to all of those outstanding motions one way or the other. You know, my hope is to do it before then, but I'm giving myself a little more than 2 weeks to go through those motions now that the juror issue has been taken off the table, and I can focus on those because I've been spending all my time on the juror misconduct allegations. So that is my plan on a going forward basis. Are there any questions, concerns, things we need to address in the interim?
Yeah, the only thing I'd comment is that I was going to check with the court reporter to see whether there was going to be a trial transcript anytime soon. And I did not do that this morning, but I will check on that tomorrow and provide the court with information.
I appreciate it.
Your Honor, there was pending a plaintiff's motion for sanctions, motion to strike and for sanctions dealing with the disclosure of the witness's home. Having spoken to new counsel, I'm deferring to them as to the argument on that. So I'll, with that and nothing further.
Well, my recollection is where we left it is both sides wanted to see how the court was going to rule on these various motions for new trial before deciding whether you wanted to schedule hearing time to address the sanction motions or not. That was where I thought we had left it.
You're absolutely correct, Your Honor. This was a separate one recently filed, and if the court wants to put them in that category, that's, I mean, depending on what Mr. Turf wants to do, but that's fine with us.
Well,
This one just seemed to be oriented towards this matter with this juror, and so
I want to invest my time in addressing the motions for new trial and JNOV and those motions, because one way or the other, I want to have an answer for the parties, whether we're doing a new trial or if we are or entering a judgment, whatever it turns out to be. I think you want the answer, and I want to give you that answer as soon as I possibly can.
we agree with the court's reasoning.
anything else from any of the lawyers? No, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, we will be in recess. I appreciate everyone being here.
All right, guys. Well, there he is with his lawyer. Between him and his lawyer, I think Juror 1 might have it on best dressed. I mean, his lawyer is very casual, but yeah. And even though his lawyer didn't do very much, I think just by being there, it helped. I really do. I really do. I think it helped contain the scope of the questions. When is your anniversary? That was pretty rough. That was rough. Like, well, I have it tattooed on my wrist, but I can't look at it right now. Ah, man. Oh. What an unfortunate thing. There's Kowalski. He's in the room today. He shows up for all these things, I guess. That's cool. All right, I'm going to end the other stream that has the 176 viewers. No, because someone told me I wasn't live and I went into a total panic. So I have 2 streams going. Oh, man. All right, end the stream. All right, so now that I've fixed the other stream, then I'm going to just go ahead and delete that stream completely. Talks amongst yourselves while I fix that. Oh, by the way, for those of you who care, my appeal was denied on YouTube. They denied my appeal for the content ID strike against my channel. So, yeah, that was fun. So we've got a new Twitter thing going on right now. So if you guys want to help with that, that'd be great. So yeah, there's something you can do to help. So yeah, they denied my appeal for playing copyrighted content, which is not copyrighted. So that was fun and exciting. So if you want to help, please help by retweeting / commenting. There's the link. On what basis did they deny it? They didn't provide a basis. They just said we've reviewed your content carefully and have confirmed it violates our third-party content policy. We know this is probably disappointing news, but it's our job to make sure YouTube is a safe place for all. I'm like, it's pretty hard for it to be third-party content when it literally doesn't belong to anybody. That's kind of tough. So if you guys would help with the retweeting and commenting on that tweet today, I only have 7 retweets right now and 5 hearts. Probably not helping very much with the engagement. There's 1,200 of you here. If half of you go over there and retweet it, it would make a huge difference. Please go over there and retweet it. Please go to the pinned comment. I'm not beyond asking. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, we reviewed your appeal. We considered your content. Yeah, all that rest. The video was Mickey Mouse loses his copyright finally. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's out of copyright, but yeah. Yeah, so, yeah. I sent to my congressman, that is not helpful. You refuse to use X? Well, that's what YouTube tends to respond to. So I'm just saying that's what YouTube tends to respond to. They tend to respond to things on X. So, you can help me there or not. I don't know what to tell you. That's just what they respond to. You don't have to tell me that you don't have Twitter. That's really not necessary. I don't need to know that. I just am like, well, that's what they tend to respond to. I could use your help. What was with the ghost stream? I don't know what you mean. Why am I still out? I explained what the fuck with you means. You get a timeout again for questioning the rules. You got a half-hour timeout for being a jackass, and now you get a timeout for questioning the rules. They don't learn, do they? They just don't learn. In fact, you're not being very nice. Maybe I should just ban you completely. Who votes for banning NFG-tard forevers The fact his name is G-Tard is not particularly helping. Who wants to ban him forever? For his comment, why am I still in timeout? Explain to you what the fuck with you means. It's not literal I'm fucking with you, acting like a fucking Nancy dude. All right. Yeah, the chat has spoken against you, sir. For being a dipshit. Hey, you are banned. Bye. What else? You gotta learn to breathe. Guess who gets a timeout? We can keep doing this. We can keep doing this as long as you guys want. Where is he so I can time him out? I can't even see his comment in Twitch. Where is he? Can't find him. Hold on, I have to go on a hunt for him so I can ban his comment. Let's see. I'm sorry, I'm too busy right now. I don't know how to Twitch, and I don't know how to find people fast. Oh, there he is. All right, you get a timeout. Great. All right, so people had questions. I'm at 60 retweets now. Thank you very much. All right, Sue has questions. Yeah, YouTube struck me for streaming Streamboat Willie, which is widely reported by the media is no longer being under copyright. So they deleted my stream and gave me a community guidelines warning for repeatedly violating copyright, namely of Steamboat Willie, which is not in copyright. Does the jury have any legal recourse as far as legal fees go? I don't know if he paid any. I have no idea. You need some mods on Twitch? I do have mods on Twitch. We're all trying to figure out how Twitch goes. It is not a trademark issue. I'm not using it as a trademark. It's a content ID. It's a content ID flag. They reviewed the content based on the audio. Right? That's content ID. It has nothing to do with trademark. Is it normal for judges to hold sanctions till the end? Nope. No. These are weak judges. Now jurors' items were denied. What's next? Well, as the judge said, next is all those motions for new trial and everything. And apparently they're getting close to a final judgment. Can't believe they haven't gotten it yet. So they're still working on the actual judgment. So presumably the judgment should come pretty soon, and then also all those motions for new trials and then sanctions, I guess. $5 from Mike DeRado. $5 says, no question, just thank you, brother. Do I think Jay Hatch will keep going after the juror? I think Jay Hatch will continue making as much noise as possible. I can assure you that both juror number one and their wife were very well aware of their ability to invoke marital privilege. Okay, I can assure you that. So they obviously talked about it and decided not to go that way, which again, I don't care. I don't care. You know, I'm not going to get my feelings hurt about it. They're the client. I don't care. You know, I had my opinion about which way they should go. I don't care that they went a different way. You know, so be it. It's fine by me. I don't care. You know, he went there in a dapper looking suit, so at least we got to see that was pretty badass. Doesn't change the usage requirements. No, it does not. Can I sue YouTube? Technically, I could get declaratory relief, yes. Or I could send a letter to Disney like, can you please confirm this is out of copyright? Like, send something to Disney's legal. Can you please confirm that this is out of copyright? And get it from the Disney letterhead, then send it on to YouTube legal. What do I think about the hippo tattoo? I think it's cute. I think it's cute. Do I think the judge will reduce the awarded amount? Probably not, no. The music for Steamboat Willie still under copyright? They are wrong. They are incorrect. They are incorrect. The music is not copyrighted. They are wrong. I read that in the US the font sitemeware is copyrighted, but the typeface output is not. Well, typefaces can be copyrighted. The typefaces can be copyrighted. And there are a lot of typefaces, so yeah, that's possible. Would analogous argument against Disney be claiming it's a new scan of the print as new copyright? No, that doesn't work. You know, because they're not transforming the original. You know, if they're just merely scanning it in again, that's not transforming the original. That doesn't give you a copyright that doesn't give you a copyright. And even if it did, it would be a very thin one. And judges increase money as a sanction? Well, not strictly. Well, I don't know if they can or not as a sanction. But the damages are already so high that I can't believe the judge would do that either. Is Comic Sans copyrighted? Couldn't speak to whether a particular font is copyrighted or not. That is beyond my knowledge. We now have 79 retweets and 21 comments, by the way. So I do appreciate the 79 of you who have popped over to Twitter, but with 1,000 of you here, I have a hard time believing there's only 79 of you on Twitter. So I'm not beyond asking for help. It really does make a difference. A lot. So please help. Someone says that was sarcasm. Well, as you might appreciate, Whiskey Scam Baiter, sarcasm is a little bit hard to read sometimes on stream. So if you don't put a /s, it's a little bit hard to read as text. Right? Hopefully, when I'm speaking, my sarcasm is more obvious because of my vocal intonation, body language, and everything else. But when you're just typing, it's a little bit harder to read. So I can't tell immediately whether it's sarcasm or not because it's not readily apparent because all I have is the typewritten text. I retweeted yesterday. We have a brand new tweet today. So you didn't retweet the one we're talking about today. This came down today and I posted a new comment about today. So it's a brand new tweet. Another opportunity to retweet all over again. You get the Comic Sans reference? It's a cartoon? Okay. Uncivil, explain that we've seen YouTube does focus humans towards actual review. The social makes a fuss about it. Yes, that's correct. Yeah, we have seen in the past where YouTube will actually back down if they get enough of a fuss on Twitter. So that's why I'm saying it makes a difference that it's on Twitter. That's the only time I've ever seen them like take attention to anything is when they get blasted on Twitter and be like, this doesn't make sense. So it does make a huge difference that's on Twitter. That's the medium that they seem to listen to. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. They don't seem to mind as much as if it's Facebook or, you know, Instagram or anything else, but they do seem to mind if it's Twitter. And so, yeah, we have gotten good results in the past on Twitter. So your thoughts there really do help a lot. They make a huge practical difference. Any talk of sanctions? No, not really. Who made the strike against you? I suppose technically Disney. Or more to the point, Content ID did. Do we need to hashtags? That would be helpful. Yeah, you could add, I would do at Team YouTube, at YouTube, at, you know, YouTube creators and all the rest of it. I do the same ats that I did in my master comment. At YouTube creators, at Team YouTube, at YouTube liaison, at Renechi C, whoever that is, because someone recommended that as someone who might be helpful. What is Content ID? Content ID is the system by which copyrighted content is automatically recognized by a bot. It's a system by which copyright holders can upload their copyrighted content so the automated machine can automatically remove it. The problem is that it wasn't removed from the bot. So the bot was out there striking content for copyright infringement when there's no copyright infringement because it's in the public domain. They strike it for third-party content, but it's not third-party content. It doesn't belong to anybody anymore. It's in the public domain. Everything's automated when it comes to YouTube for the most part. Yes, that's why you have to actually get, apparently you need 9.8 million subs for YouTube to leave your video alone. Nice. I get the reference. I think Sniper Wolf has more like 50 million, but your point is still noted. We're now up to 100 retweets and 27 comments. So, again, I do appreciate every one of your help. What else can I answer? I saw other people having the same issue with YouTube. Is there any legal actions that can be taken? Theoretically, yes, but they take a very long time. There is a guy currently suing YouTube and actually got past the motion for summary judgment on content ID in federal court. So there's at least one guy trying out there somewhere. But, that lawsuit's been ongoing for, I don't even know, 2 years at this point, and there's no end in immediate sight. Isn't copyright Leonard French's area of expertise? Sure. Yeah, Leonard French is the copyright lawyer, but this one's pretty easy, So it's like, I mean, I can read the statute just as well as Leonard can. It's not that complicated. Can I tell us how sanctions are supposed to work? Yeah, so basically every time there's sanctionable conduct, you sort of escalate it, right? That's the way it's supposed to work in principle. So like juror number 1, MK versus J Hatch. Hey, juror number 1, just out of raw curiosity, if you want to appear on stream with me and do an interview, that'd be cool. I'd in particular like to talk about your fashion sense because we think that you look great. And we want to talk about how dapper you are. And we'll leave it up to you, of course, whether or not you want to talk to us or not, or if you want to defer to a later time. Of course, that's up to you, but we thought you looked good. And we have your support. Thank you for your kind super chat. What's going on with the whole juror thing? Shenanigans, stupidity, Johns Hopkins clutching at the last straw, the last bared breath. I look tired. I feel fine. I feel great. Do I really look tired? I don't think I do. I think I look great. But okay. Anyways, we were talking about what sanctions are and how they work before I got interrupted by juror 1. So the way it's supposed to work in principle is basically every time you stray off the reservation, you're supposed to get a whacking stick. And the severity of the whacking stick increases as the number of them increase, right? So like the first time it happens, and of course, everything's going to be moderated by how egregious it is, right? So if it's particularly egregious, you can skip steps. But, for your run-of-the-mill average sanction, right? So the sort of like the force escalation of sanctions, if you like, right? So you want to start small. So typically you start with like a warning and a verbal reprimand in court, right? Basically you chastise them either in motions where you chastise them in open court. Basically, hey, dumbass, stop doing that. So you do that for a little while. And then eventually you're like, okay, you effed around and you found out. Now we're going to move past the warning stage into the penalty phases. And the penalty phases tend to, of course, start out again small. Just to get your attention initially on the hope that, getting your attention will make you stop because you realize this is painful and you don't like it very much. So typically you're going to start out with monetary sanctions. And typically they're going to be fairly minor. And again, things are going to be addressed by how, severe they are. But, typically maybe, $100 for a first violation. And I mean, the numbers are made up, right? They're made up by the judge as needed. So there's no like set rule. But you can start off with really small sanctions, maybe $100, maybe $500. You start escalating those. And then eventually you start moving into the non-monetary sanctions, which is, how about I don't allow one of your witnesses to testify as a penalty? How about one of your causes of action disappears because of a penalty? How about you aren't allowed to offer that defense anymore as a penalty? How about you spend a day in jail as a penalty? And then, you try that for a while, and then the sort of ultimate sanction at the end of the road in the civil case is, how about you lose? Default. How about you lose? Yeah, how about you don't have any defenses anymore? How about they're all gone? You just lose. So that's sort of how sanctions are supposed to work. And yeah, I look kind of tired, but not physically tired. Oh, I tired of the BS? Nah, I feel great. You look great, just tired? I don't know what the fuck that means. How is my look getting this criticized? I look tired. Oh, Lord. Like timeouts on here. That's right. That's right. Yeah, exactly the same idea. Sanctions are like timeouts. That's right. So we tell you the rules. The bot tells you the rules. And then, yeah, exactly the same ring. Right? We start out small. Like we did with that guy, right? We started out small. We gave him a timeout on YouTube for 30 minutes. And then we gave him a timeout on Twitch for 5 minutes. And the third time around, we're like, okay, we're just going to ban you. We gave you 2 warnings. You weren't able to take the hint. So now you're just gone. Yeah, it's a lot like that. Exactly. We don't want to ban people. We're not out to ban people for the hell of it. We just want people to obey the rules. And so, yes, we'll start with warnings. We'll start with something small. When someone openly says, I'm effing around with you, I'm like, I don't really like that very much. How about 30 minutes so you can reflect on it? They're like, that's not fair. Okay, how about another 5 minutes on Twitch? That's still not fair. Okay, now you get banned. Yeah. Exactly. So, yeah. I seen a judge put someone in jail for 40 hours and called a timeout. Yeah, exactly. You got the idea. Right. Yeah, it's what your mother might do, but, with extra steps. I'm going to send you to your room versus I'm going to send you to jail. Lol. Yes. Doesn't postponing the sanction ruling defeat the purpose? It sure does. You are correct. Yes, that is correct. Doesn't postponing the sanction ruling defeat the purpose? It sure does. You are 100% correct. That's a large part of the reason we are where we are, because they haven't been told no. If they'd been told no along the way, maybe they would behave themselves. This is sort of the principle behind the entire criminal justice system while we're at it, right? This is just the principle behind the entire criminal justice system wrapped up. We want to start small. We just want you to obey the law, right? We're not out to put people in prison. We're really not. We just want to start small. And, as the penalty, as you're doing a small thing, we tend not to care very much. Oh, you're speeding. Okay, well, please stop doing that. Maybe they let you go. Maybe they just give you a small fine, no biggie. Oh, you did this thing. Okay, that's a misdemeanor. That's your first one. You get to go off, and please don't do it again. So yes, basically all criminal justice is just the whacking stick. Based on severity of what you did and how bad you've been in the past. Welcome to Criminal Justice 101. I'm definitely over the BS in this case because it's a lot of BS. Can post-trial sanctions reverse some of the claims that were dropped? No, because those claims were dropped for reasons that aren't really amenable to sanction. But what the judge could theoretically do is say, in the alternative to the jury's verdict, I'm additionally awarding a decision in favor of plaintiffs for default. So that'd be fun, right? So he could theoretically do that, right? So in addition to the jury finding it, I'm also going to rule default just to give that extra second level. But, probably not. Oh, and also J Hatch, lawyer number one, or juror number one. Juror number one, I don't know if you're still out there, but we were debating what cologne to get for you or what cologne you might wear. We were running a poll. The chat and I came up with 4 options of what cologne we think you wear or what you'd like. We came up with Giorgio Armani's original Acqua di Gio, classic. Prada Luna Rosa Ocean. You seemed like maybe you liked the sea kind of smell. We came up with Calvin 1 CK's 1, also a classic. And Hugo Boss's Boss. So I don't know if any of those are your cologne, but if you could tell us what colognes you wear, the chat would appreciate it. We were having a discussion on this. Candy Marie gifted 10 gift memberships. I thought Ocean was the one for you. I thought Prada's Ocean would be the good one for you. But we were having a discussion. Thank you also, by the way, for the super chat, of course. Really bad cologne name for Hugo Boss would be Furor. Woof. Woof. Yeah, that's a good one. Or Polo. Ralph Lauren. Same problem. Same problem. Would I marry someone who'd been married before? Potentially. Potentially. As long as they don't have kids and want kids. Yes. Possibly. What else? Hugo made the uniforms. Did Hugo make the uniforms? I thought Ralph Lauren also made uniforms for the Nazis. Is my history wrong? Ralph Lauren Nazis. Coco Chanel. Louis Vuitton? Oh, maybe Ralph Lauren didn't have ties with the Nazis. Huh. Oh wait, no. Here's an article, I think. Let's see if I can find Ralph. Yeah. Oh, Ralph Lauren was Jewish? Okay, well then I was really wrong. Oops. Never mind. Ralph Lauren was on Friends. He ain't that old. Wrong, Ralph Lauren. $10 from Torin. Thank you so much for the raid last night. For your braid, I was thinking Beefish, channel logo, and Clemson paw print in orange and black. I'll send you design before starting. Cool. Ralph Lauren was fine in 1967. Okay, sorry. I knew Hugo Boss was involved. I also thought for some reason Ralph Lauren was involved. But Ralph Lauren was Jewish, so not so much. No. Yeah. I always liked how Christian Dior's student was Yves Saint Laurent. And then he formed his own house, which I thought was pretty cool. 2 lads, basically, in the English countryside. Jordache? Yeah, I mean, the ultimate one is Volkswagen, right? The people's car. Yeah. Or BMW. Yeah, BMW. Because their logo looks like a propeller. Let's not ask why. Your degree is in fashion? Kick ass. And then on the American side, like a lot of like companies who did things that you wouldn't think they did because, you know, we were in a war environment. Like I forget, something like 40% of basically GDP was war. It was a lot. Like was a lot. And so a lot of companies were doing things you didn't expect. And my personal favorite was Singer, the sewing machine company, made a couple 1911 45 calibers, which if you can find one these days are worth several $1,000,000. So keep your eye out for that Singer 45. Also, if you can find a Luger in 45, that's worth tens of millions of dollars. So, you know, keep your eye out. You never know. Yeah, I think they only made like a scant number of 45s. It was experimental. I think they only made like 3 or something. So finding a 45 Luger would be really hard. I found a Luger in the Thames once, but my dad threw it back. No idea what caliber. Well, almost certainly 9mm, but yeah. A 45 Luger? Yeah. Yeah, the Germans, they did a few prototypes of 45 Luger. Yeah. It wasn't very many, but they did a couple prototypes of a 45 Luger. Yeah. Ralph Lauren was on Friends as a cameo? Oh, okay. Then same Ralph Lauren, I guess. Never mind. No one ever told you life would be this way. Nazis, Nazis. Dun, 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 dun. There was Luger trials for the U.S.? Oh, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. The Luger's cool. My dad owns a couple. That's where the 45 Lugers come from? I didn't know that. I didn't know that was because of an American thing. I just thought they were experimenting on their own for the hell of it. But that's cool. All right, I guess I'm going to sign off now that we've well deviated off the topic of juror number 1. So we'll see what happens, and we'll also see if we can get juror number 1 on to give us fashion and cologne tips. And also help him out with maybe getting some flowers or something. Well, we've been here. I've been on Civil Law. Until later, my friends, I hope all's well. Cheers, my friends, and goodbye.